On December the 17th, 1983, a devastating event changed Madrid forever. Early that morning, the Alcalá 20 nightclub, a well-known spot in the city, was suddenly engulfed in flames. This horrifying fire quickly got out of control, leading to chaos and panic among those inside. The root cause was shockingly poor fire safety measures inside the club. The lack of adequate fire protection allowed the fire to spread rapidly, turning a place of entertainment into a scene of tragedy. This incident marked a significant and somber moment in Madrid's history, highlighting the dire consequences of neglecting safety regulations. The tragic story of the Alcalá 20 nightclub fire began in the early hours of December 17, 1983 in Madrid. As one of the city's most popular night spots, the club was bustling with nearly 1,000 visitors enjoying music and dance. But as the night was winding down, and as the DJ stopped the music around about 5 AM, no one could have predicted the horror that was about to unfold. It started with a seemingly minor incident. A spark on the stage set one of the large decorative curtains ablaze. Within moments, the fire began to devour the club, fueled by over 5,000 kilos of highly flammable materials like textiles, plastics, and papier-mâché. These materials created a deadly combination, rapidly spreading the fire and filling the club with suffocating smoke. As the smoke and flames engulfed the space, many considered it a joke and part of the show. But soon, the severity of the situation became terrifyingly clear. People rushed to the exits, only to find some of them blocked. In the darkness, with the lights out, panic set in. The club's design, especially with the narrow, spiraling staircase, only added to the chaos, leading to a deadly bottleneck. As the flames engulfed the club, they produced a dense, suffocating smoke that filled the air. Officials emphasized that most of the deaths were caused by this smoke and not the flames. Panicked visitors desperately tried to flee safely, rushing up the stairs towards street level. However, their path to escape was perilously narrow, particularly in the hallway and coat check area, which were ill-equipped to handle the desperate surge of people. The sheer panic and urgency to escape led to a tragic scenario where many were trampled in the chaos. Alcalá 20 was so crowded that a full sign was placed across the entrance, and the iron grille was apparently closed to discourage more people from coming in. The club's locked emergency doors turned the club into a death trap. With only one viable exit available, dozens of people found themselves trapped, unable to escape the deadly inferno in time. The confusion extended to the number of people in the club that night. The owner, Pedro Rincon Bravo, told the authorities that there were about 600 people at the time of the fire. Witnesses said that there were about 1,000 people. The legal capacity of the hall was only 900. According to Rafael Noya, head of Madrid's emergency services, the design may have added to the confusion of people trying to escape and impeded rescue efforts. Technical reports later revealed that the staircase leading to the entrance acted like a chimney, exacerbating the smoke and making escape even more difficult. By the time the emergency responders arrived, the scene was heartbreaking. 81 people had lost their lives in what was a preventable disaster. Knowing about the only working emergency exit, the staff managed to escape, but many were not so fortunate. This tragedy shook Madrid and underscored the critical need for stringent safety and fire protection regulations worldwide. The Alcalá 20 nightclub tragedy, even decades later, remains a deeply etched memory for many, especially those who lost loved ones. Purification AP, who lost her sister in the fire, recalls the harrowing night vividly. Her father was the janitor of the building above the club, and her family had to flee their home as it began to fill with smoke. "It's been very tough," she reflects. "Every single day I remember what happened, and it is never out of my mind." The pain and trauma are such that she, like many others affected, finds it too difficult to speak further on the matter. Francisco Gallego Clavero, a firefighter who was among the first to enter the nightclub post-disaster, describes the scene inside as absolute chaos. He recalls his grim task vividly. "I was using a vest pocket flashlight, of the kind we used to carry back then, to light up the place while my colleagues took out the bodies. Outside, there were friends and relatives waiting." He remembers finding bodies piled up by the coat check. Mateo Rivas, a young officer at the time, was responding to the scene in one of the patrol cars. He recounts the chaos and the overwhelming presence of smoke that made standing at the club's front door impossible. The firefighters had to go down with the breathing equipment. He recalls, 5 people, including a young woman, managed a miraculous escape, overwhelmed by smoke. They used a tool to break through the doors and found a route through air conditioning ducts. Joaquin Mora, a group member, described it. Everything was filled with smoke. Luckily, one of us had a bar, a kind of pick, that we used against 3 doors. Suddenly, we found air to breathe, and we were in these ducts and got out. Pepe Rubio, a press spokesman for the traffic department, witnessed the fire while driving past the club. He saw young people screaming inside and helped them break down a door to escape. Recalling the chaos, he said, "They spilled out like a horde of insects. They were falling all over one another." In the aftermath of the Alcalá 20 nightclub tragedy, the wheels of justice began to turn. The Madrid Provincial Court's 6th section delivered a stern verdict, sentencing each of the 4 businessmen associated with the nightclub to 2 years for reckless imprudence. Additionally, the electrical installer also faced conviction for falsifying documents related to the club's electrical installation. The court's decision brought to light the grave oversight by the club's owners. They were fully aware of the dangerous deficiencies in safety measures. Among these alarming shortcomings were fire extinguishers that were past their inspection dates and a lone fire hose that was utterly inadequate in terms of flow and pressure. Pablo Garriz, president of ASELF, the Spanish Firefighting Association, commented on the tragedy, noting a lax attitude towards safety measures in the nightlife scene, largely because it was such a lucrative business. Despite Madrid being at the forefront of fire regulations, these regulations were not effectively enforced. Garriz pointed out a critical gap. The local councils lacked the resources and authority to ensure compliance with safety standards. This negligence came at a high cost. The Ministry of Interior was ordered to pay a staggering compensation, 2 million pesetas, approximately 12 million euros. This tragedy served as a wake-up call, highlighting the dire consequences of overlooking safety in favor of profit. The aftermath of the Alcalá 20 nightclub fire saw the building, a complex 4-story underground structure, left in its charred state. It remained untouched and closed for years, until 2003, when significant change finally occurred, with the initiation of a major refurbishment project. The revamped club, now reduced to 2 stories and rebranded as Abrada, made a brief reappearance in 2005. This reopening, however, was short-lived. Despite improvements in fire safety, the city authority shut it down just 3 hours after opening its doors. In a repeat scenario, November 2007 saw the club attempting to make another comeback, only to be shut down by authorities within a few hours once more. This pattern of reopening and rapid closure highlighted the ongoing concerns and sensitivities surrounding the site, a place marked by one of the city's most harrowing events. After installing modern fire safety devices, the club reopened under a new name in February of 2010. The Alcalá 20 nightclub disaster is a chapter in Madrid's history that will never be forgotten. This tragedy serves as a solemn reminder that preparedness is non-negotiable when it comes to fire. It was a call to action for cities, businesses, and individuals worldwide to prioritize safety and take proactive steps in fire prevention to ensure such a disaster is never repeated.
Let us know your thoughts in the comments. Make sure to subscribe to our channel for more thought-provoking content.